Liberal Viewer presents.
So one of the major functions of Fox News is providing a friendly platform for Republicans to get out their message, free from some of the difficult questions they would face in interviews with actual journalists, and you can usually see one of these quasi-infomercials coming on from the way the interview introduction sounds almost as if it were written by the candidate's campaign itself, as was the case last week when supposedly straight news anchor Megyn Kelly introduced someone she knows personally, Republican presidential hopeful Rick Santorum, in this clip.
Well, after his solid finish in the Iowa straw poll, some political observers said that Congressman Ron Paul was being ignored by the media. He came in second in Iowa. But others say another GOP candidate is having an even harder time getting his message out. Former Senator Rick Santorum placed fourth in that poll. It was a solid fourth. And many are wondering if he is being treated as the invisible candidate. Joining me now, I can see him. Former U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum. Senator, thank you so much for being here.
Now, that pretty positive introduction was followed by a pretty typical Fox News softball question in that it included a positive talking point from the campaign itself about a supposed uptick in phone calls as a lead-in to ask the "can you win" question, for which any candidate should be well prepared, as you could see in this clip.
Thank you, Megyn.
Even though some say you're the invisible candidate, you have noticed an uptick in calls to your campaign in some critical states: Iowa, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and New Hampshire. And my question to you is, do you believe that you can win this nomination?
Now, as soft as that typical softball question was for a Republican candidate on Fox News, it paled in comparison to the question that came a couple minutes later, in which Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly claimed Rick Santorum has been rejected by the gay community because Santorum is against gay marriage and says it's wrong and destructive of the family, but not because of the actual infamous incident from 2003 so insulting to the gay community, in which Rick Santorum compared gay relationships to, quote, man-on-child, man-on-dog, unquote, relationships, which Megyn Kelly never mentioned in the ultimate softball question you can see here.
This is a difficult question, sort of. I know you personally a little bit, and my impression of you, I'll share with the viewers, is you are an incredibly nice guy. You're very compassionate, you're very caring, you look out for other people. When I talk to some of my friends who are gay and lesbian, they don't understand that characterization of you, because they think that you have it in for gays and lesbians because you're anti-gay marriage, and you've called it wrong, and you've called it destructive of the family. And I want to give you the opportunity to speak to those people now to explain why they should not feel that way about you.
Unbelievable. And in case you're not convinced the 2003 insult to the gay community that question covered up is an important campaign issue, some of the long-term effects of that insult are detailed in the great Mother Jones article, Rick Santorum's Anal Sex Problem, or you can see one long-term effect just by checking out the top result when you Google the last name Santorum. But making this softball question even softer than the way it lets Santorum get away without ever addressing his 2003 man-on-child, man-on-dog insult was the way the question even let him characterize himself as on the side of civility, as you can see in the part of Santorum's answer in this clip.
But that doesn't mean that I dislike anybody or hate anybody because of their sexual orientation. I respect that decision, but I also you have to respect me for feeling very differently about trying to take that orientation and then to try to project an agenda onto the American public that is consistent with that. That's where I'll draw the line and have a disagreement. But it's not personal, it's about policy.
I also hate how Megyn Kelly just let Santorum get away with characterizing sexual orientation as a decision people make in that answer. And if asking a question that covered up Rick Santorum's real man-on-child, man-on-dog insult and then letting Santorum characterize himself as on the side of civility wasn't enough to qualify that question as the worst Fox News softball question of the Republican primary, what pushes the question over the top for me was the disingenuous way Megyn Kelly started off with this claim.
This is a difficult question, sort of.
Sort of? I don't think so, but I want to know what you think. Could anyone honestly characterize that as even sort of a difficult question? And conversely, even though it's only August 2011 when I'm making this video, I still think I've got a strong candidate. Is this the worst Fox News softball question of the Republican primary?
YouTube, you decide.